Hey guys, so I want to show you how I made my wig. First, you're going to need you some hair, and I'm using my LAVY hair, my 18, 20, 22 inch bundles with a 16 inch closure. You're going to need a dome cap, scissors, stick pins, and then of course needle and thread. Also, you're going to need a styrofoam cap, and you see I have tape wrapped all around mine just so it can be kind of the same, you know, have the same circumference as my head, the same size, so my cap won't be too tight. So all I'm doing is sticking the pins in the styrofoam cap so that the cap won't move at all. When I sew the hair on the cap, I'm gonna make sure I sew above that line right there. That's like the stretchy band. I don't want to sew on that because it's gonna make it so that the wig doesn't stretch, and I like for it to be stretchy just so it can fit on my head and I can feel more secure. So all I'm gonna do is go ahead and stick my needle through the weft of the hair. And for the first couple of times, I keep my thumb right there. I keep it secure so that the hair won't go around moving. So make sure that you keep your thumb right there just so it can be secure. And I kind of go in that same spot just because that's where I'm starting off, and I don't want it to move. So I kind of just sew in that same area probably about 3 or 4 times until I feel like it's secure enough for me to move on. After I pull a needle through a couple of times, then I go ahead and do my knot. So to make a knot, all you simply have to do is just pull the thread around the actual needle and then pull a needle through, and that'll create a knot. And I'll show you how to do it right there if you guys can't understand what I'm explaining, because it's kind of hard to explain. You just have to look. Then I continue to sew the track across, making sure that I keep it in a straight line. And I do the same thing. I just sew it down, like I sew it through a couple of times, and then like on the 3rd or 4th time, I create a knot. So that's pretty much all it is to it. You sew it down a couple of times, and then you create a knot. So for the flipping part, whenever you flip the track, you have to put your thumb down again, just so it can be secure, because if you don't, then it's gonna like move around a little bit. So whenever you flip your track, make sure that you hold it in place by putting your thumb down, just the same way that you did whenever you put the very first track on, the very first piece of the track on, if that makes sense. When you're sewing, make sure that you always keep in mind that you need to keep the track straight, just so they can lay nice and flat and straight, and everything could just be neat. Tip that I have when you're making the wig is to make sure that you already have your needles threaded. I like to have at least 6 threaded before I even start, just so it can make the process easier and I don't have to stop each time and thread needles. So I'm continuing to sew the tracks onto the wig cap in a zigzag motion, making sure that I'm using my other hand, making sure that I'm using my left hand to secure the tracks and to keep them in a nice straight line. And then after every 2 or 3 loops around, I put a knot in it. So it's the next morning, y'all. I had to take a break, but anyway, I have 2 bundles on the cap right now, and I'm gonna go ahead and add my closure. I already cut off the extra lace part, and I'm just gonna kind of position the closure, make sure it's right where I want it to be. A good guide is to put the closure, like the middle part of the closure, right in the middle of the 2 lines on the dome cap. I'm just gonna secure one side of it with a stick pin. Then I'm gonna start sewing the other side down. When I sew the closure down, I make sure that I kind of just stay on the edge of the closure, like it's like a little thick part. Usually on closures, it's like a really thick border or edge or whatever, and that's what I sew down. I don't go deep down into the actual lace part of it because I don't want to damage it. So I pretty much just stay on the perimeter and sew that down on the cap. When I'm halfway through sewing down the closure, I start on the other side. I like to do it side by side like that because I feel like if I go around one way, then it's going to be crooked. And if I just go from both sides and meet in the middle, then it'll be nice and straight. So yeah, that's why I do it like that. So when I'm done sewing down the closure, I just go ahead and secure it away with like a ponytail holder. And then I start on my third bundle. So the reason why I start on my third bundle after I do the closure is because I want to make sure that I have enough room just so I can be able to gauge and see how much space I have, and you know, so I won't waste any hair or use up too much hair. So this is how my wig looks when it is all done. Doesn't it look pretty? So in order for the lace to look natural, I'm going to cut out the excess cap right there in the middle where the lace is. And now whenever I have it on my head, it'll look nice and natural. Well, as natural as it's gonna get. For my braid pattern, I just have a part down the middle, my braids laying flat just so that my hair will lay flat and it won't have any lumps or bumps in it. So I'm just lining my hair up, making sure that the part is even with my part that I have in my hair. And then I'm going to go ahead and start sewing it down on the perimeter. I know I can make my part look more natural, but I just didn't feel like it, y'all. I didn't feel like doing all the extra stuff. So this is just what I'm going to go with. But of course you can make your part look more natural by like adding concealer to it and kind of pushing it back and having some of your natural out. But I didn't want any of that. And I just felt like just throwing that bad boy on. It really don't make a difference to me because nobody's going to be staring at my head from a rooftop. And if they are, then that's just creepy. But anyway, I'm just sewing the cap down all around the perimeter and being gentle. Yeah, that's another thing. When you're sewing around your edges, do not go pulling that stuff super hard. Be very gentle, you guys, because your edges need love. Okay, now I'm just spritzing my hair with water, kind of taming it down. Then I'm just going to go ahead and start adding some layers to my hair. And this was the first day that I installed the hair. Afterward, like the day after, I cut it some more. So that's why in this video it looks a lot longer and bigger than in my initial video, because I had cut it some more since then. But now I'm going to start defining my curls. So to define my curls, I use three things. I use my Creme of Nature leave-in conditioner, and I use the Creme of Nature mousse, and then of course I use water and my Demon brush, and then I just pretty much brush the hair down with Demon brush, and then I just let it go. You guys, let me know if you want me to do a detailed step-by-step video of how I define my curls in the morning. It literally takes me like 15 minutes, so if you guys want to see that, just like this video or comment below, whatever floats your boat. So this is how my hair looks after I let it air dry for a little while. The curls are popping. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Make sure you follow your girl Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter at trophdoph. And thank you for watching.